for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman, for holding this really important hearing on a critical issue for our military and our young men and women. The military goes to great lengths to instill esprit de corps, to instill culture among its ranks. When I was a young enlisted soldier, my career started when I was in the enlisted ranks as a private. I remember going to basic training. And the amount of time that was spent learning knowledge. You were given this book, and you're told to memorize the Army song, Army history, the great battles in American history. You memorize the ranks, the command structure. You know, it's a reflection of the priorities of the force, where you spend your time. An instruction was broken down by the hour. You know, X number of hours on marksmanship, X number of hours on physical fitness, and where we spend our resources. So with that in mind, I'm concerned that our time and resources still do not adequately reflect the priority and the urgency of this issue. Dr. Galbraith, you said that within 14 days, new recruits are informed about the program. And then when they go to their advanced training, they're provided, quote, additional information about the program. So can you shed some additional light for me as to how many hours of instruction and how much time is spent for these new recruits who get their first exposure to military culture and the priorities of our force to instill in them how critical this issue is?
I don't have that number on me because this is a service equity that they all execute just a bit differently, but it is, once again, there's a substantial amount of time spent. I just don't know what it is per service.
I would think you would want to know that. I mean, you are one of the top leaders in the program that's designed to instill accountability into our force, and I understand that there are some disparities, but this starts from day one.
It does.
And I'm dismayed, to say the least, that you don't know how much time and effort is spent instilling culture and priorities on our recruits from the first day they step off that bus, right? Because when you get yelled at by the drill sergeant,
right,
it's a reflection of the priorities of the force. But we're clearly not doing that with an issue of critical importance that goes to the esprit de corps, the values, the culture, and the morality of our military. So I want, for the record, to get that information from you, and I want to know that this will remain a priority. Dr. Galbraith, can you tell me how many of the SHARP representatives throughout the force, I believe at the GS level, they started at the brigade level, how many of those are women?
The vast majority of them are women. I don't have the exact percentage of what the gender breakdown is, but...
So it's over 50%?
That is my understanding.
Okay, vast majority is all that you know. Okay, again, that's a number I would expect you to know, because that's important, because that's also a reflection of the priorities of our force and how we're allocating our resources. And I would expect, as a leader of this organization, that you would have that information. That you would know how many women are out there within our units actually addressing this issue. The last question I'd like to make is actually dovetailing on the ranking member, General Kelly's comments about the impact of NCOs, because we've talked a lot about the officer corps, and certainly, you know, the buck stops with the officers. But the NCOs are critical. I could not agree more with General Kelly's comment that if you want to know what's going on in a barracks, if you want to know what's going on during off hours on the weekend, it's our sergeants, our NCOs that know what's going on within the units. And I don't believe that we are adequately training and equipping the NCO Corps through the NCO development system and education system to lead on this issue. So my last statement would actually be a request that we figure out a way to better equip the NCO Corps and use them as kind of our eyes and ears and tools on the front line to address this crisis. So thank you, Madam Chair. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman.